Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Adam MC Snooze, if you will. I'm here with my boy, Hype Man Vic, and we have Daniel P on the ones and twos in the background. How you doing, boys?
Yo, doing good, doing good. And today, we're also doing another whiskey. This Group B is near and dear to my heart, so I brought in a whiskey near and dear to my heart. Eagle Rare, one of my favorite pours. So I'm gonna
Mm.
enjoy this one a lot. Let's do it.
Well, don't do it a lot, just a little. But okay, as we're going through today, we're talking Euro 2024. As Vic mentioned, it's Group B, and that group is also known as the Group of Death. We have Spain, Italia, Croatia, and Albania. And we're going to run through these, tell you a little bit about each team, the form they've been in, the key players for each team, and then also running through the betting odds and what we think will happen in this group. So, with that said, let's get started over in Spain. So Spain got here by finishing top of their group with a record of 7 wins, 1 loss, and no draws. And in Euro 2020, they finished second in their group behind Sweden with 7 points, which that's crazy to think that they lost the group to Sweden nonetheless. They beat Croatia in the round of 16. They beat Switzerland in the quarterfinals, and they lost on pens to Italy in the semifinals. But they have won the competition 3 times back in 1964, 2008, and 2012. So they're looking to get their 4th, and I believe that is the joint highest with Germany as far as Euro championships. Okay, well, with that said, let's take a look at some of the form. Vic, take it from here.
Yeah, they're looking really good. In 2023, they're actually undefeated. They started off last summer in June with a win against Italy and then a win in penalties against Croatia. Going into the fall, they went through another undefeated session. They actually beat the hell out of Georgia 7-1, and then also beat the hell out of Cyprus 6-0, back-to-back wins. Going on, rattling off 4 more wins to finish out the fall against Scotland, Norway, Cyprus, and Georgia again. 2024 hasn't been the most shining display of their talent, but they are picking it up near the end. During March, they had lost to Colombia 1-0, and then tied with Brazil. I mean, that's a good feat on its own, time with Brazil. As of late, on June 5th, they actually beat the hell out of Andorra again, 5-0, and as of right now of this taping, are beating Northern Ireland 4-1. So, looking pretty good, and they're actually looking really strong going to these Euros.
I'd just like to call out that I think Andorra is in Star Wars, right? It's a
I
galaxy
think,
in Star Wars or something like that.
yeah, I wasn't sure, so I
Really?
didn't bring it up, but yeah, I think so.
It's a made up. I'm just
Nerds.
kidding. If there's any Andorans out there, I'm sorry. Um, there is. Is that what you said?
No, I said
Andorra.
nerds.
Anyway.
Nice.
Oh, nerds. Dang. Rude. All right. Moving right along to some key players. This team is stacked. I could have chosen anybody on this team, but I just chose 3 and some young talent to watch. 3 of the ones that stick out. The main one is Rodri for Man City. He's the defensive midfield. He's one of the best in the world in his position, and he's by far Spain's best player. We also have Pedri, central midfielder for Barcelona, 21 years old, and when he's healthy, I'm going to keep saying it for everybody on this team, but when he's healthy, he's one of the top midfielders in the world. This past season had hamstring issues that forced him to miss a ton of time, so looking for a healthy Pedri in this tournament, and that could be the difference for Spain. We also have Dani Carvajal, Real Madrid's star right back. He just scored the first goal in the Champions League final, breaking it wide open before they beat Dortmund. And he has now won the competition 6 times with Madrid. So he's used to the big stage. He can do it all from that right back position, and he'll be a big figure in that Spanish team. Now we're going to talk about some of the young talent here. And for a lot of these players, you've probably heard of them and seen them. That's not going to be different here. The thing that we're going to dive into with Lamine Yamal is the fact that he is 16 years old. That is crazy. He's a 16-year-old right winger for Barcelona. Last season, he scored 7 goals and 10 assists across all competitions. And he's obviously Spain and Barcelona's youngest scorer ever. It's just crazy to think about how well he's developed as a 16-year-old playing against grown-ass men in their 30s and late 20s. So, man, his main attribute is the fact that he's fast, but he's also really got a lethal instinct in front of goal. So this could be the tournament that he starts to go from a well-known star to a world-known star, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does in this tournament. But let's go over to the odds and see what those degenerates are betting on. Vic, take it from here.
Yeah, well, those degenerates actually give Spain the absolute best odds to finish on top of this group. And that's a tough group, too. So that's saying something. They're at a negative 125 odds on that. So overall odds to win the Euro is a plus 800, which is the fourth best in the tournament. So really good and a really strong team. So, I mean, that's some pretty good money. That's a pretty good bet that you could make there.
Yeah, fourth best odds to win it, and they have a really strong squad. Word on the street is that there's an overall feeling that this team, they're kind of in a transition period where they're bringing in some of these newer, younger stars, but other countries, they are just a little bit better equipped, and their stars that were younger are a little bit more experienced now, more so than Spain's. But the real concerning factor that I'm seeing is that everybody's worried that they're not going to be able to score too many goals because Morata, he hasn't been himself lately. And if he can't score goals regularly, then they're going to need to get contributions from those young wingers and midfielders, not wieners, that don't have a lot of experience at this level. So if he's struggling, they might not be able to get goals, and that could be the reason that they get knocked out. But with that being said, the general feeling is that they will find themselves at minimum in the quarterfinals, but most people are saying that they're probably going to get into the semis. I'll be watching this team because I'm a big kit guy. I love to see uniforms out there, iconic, classic colors on the pitch, and Spain's is an iconic kit. And to see those colors on the new, young, talented squad, I'm just super interested to watch this all unfold, especially being in the group of death. We get some great games right up top, and that's going to be fascinating to watch. Some reasons why y'all should be watching Spain. Have you ever heard of churros and hot chocolate? Some churros. I know that you probably had some in Mexico, but it actually came from Spain, which I know Mexico, Spain, right? But I promise you, if you go to Madrid, they're all about it. I'm looking forward to going one day, but man, they sound awesome. I think, where were we at, Vic? We were in Colorado. There was like a little
Denver?
stand.
Yeah.
Madrid guy, he was selling them. And he had all this Real Madrid stuff on the wall. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But they're fantastic. So that could be a reason to go for them. Another reason is because of that Lamine Yamal kid. He's barely a teenager, and I can just see a lot of media coverage and hype around him. I mean, there's already so much going on in the media before the tournament. But if he plays for one of the biggest clubs in the world in Barcelona. And, he's probably going to get the nod to start a few of these games. But if he has a decent tournament, we're really going to hear about him for years and years to come. And as he develops, I want to be able to say, man, I remember when he was 16 years old and he was already killing it. And so that's why y'all should be watching this game too. Spain is going to be fascinating, and let's enjoy the ride while we're here. Victor, what are you watching this team for?
I'll tell you why. And it starts in just about everybody's kitchen. 45% of the olive oil in the world is made from Spain. It's incredible. So you got some kind of Spaniard in your kitchen right now. So my odds are. Not only that, it goes straight to the bedroom. Not in the way you're thinking. Gross. But Spain loves to take 20-minute to 2-hour siestas all the time. And that's just nice. How would you not just support a country like that? It's amazing during the day. So also, they are just no frills, no thrills. Their national anthem has 0 words, but they do know how to party. And they have 1 bar for every 175 citizens, the largest per capita in the world. So that's why I'll be rooting for them. That's why I will probably be visiting them. And that's how I see it.
Well, it makes sense. That many bars, you'll probably need a nap, right? You can drink all the time. I'd want to sleep too. So, man, that's why they invented that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's keep the train moving. Let's keep it moving. We're going over to Italy, and they got into the Euro 2024 by finishing second in their group behind England with a record of 4 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. The last time they were here in 2020, they went through the entire tournament undefeated, winning all 3 of their group stage matches and topping the group with 9 points. Then they beat Austria, Belgium, Spain, all en route to beating England in penalties in the final. Boys, is that good? I think that qualifies as good.
I've heard it's pretty good.
I think that's good. Um, so of course they've won it twice, 1968, and then they won it last time out in 2020. So with that said, going into the tournament, how is their form looking so far, Victor?
Yeah, the form this year is looking pretty far, but we'll start with 2023. Started off on the wrong foot during the summer. They did lose to Spain, although Spain is a powerhouse, 2-1. Did bounce back really good with the win against the Netherlands. Had a draw going into the fall, that kind of rhymes, against North Macedonia. Macedonia, I don't know how you say it. And
I think
then
it's math.
it's Macedonia. Yeah, Macedonia. Rattling off two straight wins right after that against the Ukraine and Malta. Did lose and slip to England 3-1, but bounced right back, luckily, with North Macedonia, beating them 5-2. And closing out the year last year, they had a 0-0 draw against the Ukraine. As for this year, they actually have they rattled off two straight victories in March against Venezuela and Ecuador. And then whenever they played Turkey, just a couple of days ago on June 4th, they had a 0-0 draw. And we'll play Bosnia and Herzegovina tomorrow. So hopefully getting another win and getting onto the Euros in a positive foot.
Yeah, that's some good results recently.
Hmm.
Losing to England and Spain, kind of hopefully not foreshadowing for them, but they played the best teams and are losing. So, and those were in competitive matches, not in friendlies. So we
Yeah.
shall see how that goes. But some key players to watch for Italy in this tournament. We have Gianluigi Donnarumma. He is PSG's world-class goalkeeper. Broke into AC Milan in the first team when he was 16 years old. Kind of like that Lamine Yamal kid. Might be good. And he was the player of the tournament in 2020. The first goalkeeper to win that award out of all the attacking greats that we have in Europe. He's the one who won the player of the tournament in the last Euro. That's crazy. And just tells you how good and talented this keeper really is. They also have Nicolo Barella. He's a central midfielder for Serie A winning side Inter Milan. And his teammate, Alessandro Bastoni, he's one of the best center backs in the world for Inter as well. A name to watch out for that's on the younger side, some young talent. We have Riccardo Calafiori. He's 22. He's a center back for Bologna and started 26 games for them on their way to the Champions League, which the last season in Serie A, that was one of the surprising teams really of all of European football. But specifically him being a big piece of that back line is going to help out. He's a modern day defender from what I've read. He's a modern day defender that can play left back or center back. He's young and learning, but he's already shown the traits and instincts that can make him a top defender. And whenever we call him a modern day defender, that's it's meaning he does his defensive duties, but he's also good at carrying the ball forward and starting out from the back, because a lot of teams love to do that now. And so if he's able to do that for this Italian side that is historically known to be defensive, it could be a big switch for them. And so let's take a look at some of the odds and who's putting their money on what, Victor.
Yeah, and the odds have Italy only behind Spain to finish top of the group at a plus 200. Overall, they're actually going to join Belgium and the Netherlands for the sixth best odds at a plus 1,400. So not a bad bet if you want to make that bet. If you're Italian, I might do it because I have a coworker that's Italian, and he would get mad at me if I put my money anywhere else, probably.
Fair enough. And word on the street for this team is that there's a changing of the guard in the defense and the coach, and there's a few injuries to key players, but really Italy typically kills it at these Euros, and the expectations are that they'll be in a tough group, but that they're going to get to it and through it, probably to the quarterfinals is what I've been hearing from a lot of the media out there. But yeah, tough group to do that in. But remember, the top three can get into the round of 16. So even if they don't get second, if they qualify in third, they can still make a run at the tournament. And some reasons why I'll be watching. Well, I just want to see if they can do it again, honestly. They haven't qualified for 2 straight World Cups, which is crazy to say out loud. The team that won the Euros hasn't gone to the past 2 World Cups, but sandwiched between those World Cups is winning the Euro in 2020. So how does it make sense? Just make it make sense, and I can tell you how this team's going to do. All I can tell you is that I'm looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out with them. Can they do it again? some reasons why y'all should be watching, though. Look, I get it. Throwing out a goalkeeper as the main reason to tune into a team doesn't sound sexy, but Donnarumma, he's not just any goalkeeper. He may be the best in this new generation of goalkeepers, and it really feels like he's been around for 2 decades already, but he's still only 25. So that's basically a baby in goalkeeping years. He can play for another 10, 15 years if he wanted to. And then also, I know that Italy is a top vacation / holiday destination for almost every American out there. And so if you plan on going this year to Italy and they win it again, I can almost guarantee you they'll still be partying whenever you get there. So let's root for them if you're going to Italy this year. And you'll probably have a lot of, what were they called? Aperitivos, and some limoncello, gelato. Oh, man. Just, watch them, celebrate with them. And Vic, tell us why you will be celebrating Italia at Euro 2024.
Along the lines of the food, I know these games are going to come down to a battle of attrition, and Italians consume half a pound of bread a day. Not only that, they consume about 55 pounds of pasta a year, and pasta is very light. So just put that into perspective. You know they got the carbs to go the full 90 minutes and longer if they need to. So they're going to be putting on a full shift out there, and I know they can do it. So not only that, our producer Danny will love this part, but they're actually the most civilized country in the fact that they give cats rights, and anyone convicted of killing a cat, owned or stray, could face a 10,000-pound fine and up to 3 years in prison. So civilized world right there. Oh, and also I got engaged there. I should probably throw it out there.
You did.
There you go.
You did. Shout out to your fiance.
Hey, boo.
I knew the pasta stuff. Didn't know it was that much. That's pretty awesome that the cats have rights there. I don't want to say anything else. I would like, if, Dan, you want to come in here and just chime in real quick?
I'm all about it.
All right. Perfect.
Great insight, Dan.
Okay. And moving along to Croatia. How Croatia got here? Well, they finished second in their group behind Turkey with a record of 5 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. The last time they were here, they finished second in their group behind England. They had 4 points and drew with Czech, who also had 4 points, but they advanced on the goals for, and they ended up losing to Spain in the round of 16. Their best ever finish at the Euros, though, is getting to the quarterfinals in 96 and in 08. And they will definitely be looking to do that once again here in 2024. Vic, what has their form been like the past few matches?
Yeah, well, they only had 2 losses all of 2023. They started off during the summer with a 4-2 win against the Netherlands, and then actually lost on penalties to Spain, which is a pretty good feat once you think about it there. They rattled off 2 wins right afterwards with a 5-0 thrashing of Latvia. But those 2 losses did come into play in October, where they lost to Turkey and Wales. So good job, Wales. They finished out the year pretty strong. They beat Latvia.
The animal?
Yeah, the animal. They definitely should have had an actual whale instead of a dragon on their flag. I don't know what they were thinking.
Very true.
Finished out the year strong with a 2-0 win against Latvia and a 1-0 win against Armenia. In 2024, they did start the FIFA series in March. They had a 5-4 on penalty win against Tunisia, and they did rattle off 3 straight wins afterwards, beating Egypt, North Macedonia, and Portugal to end up the year and head into the Euros. So seems pretty sweet, and I know they did well with my boy Luka. I think, Adam, you can tell us a little bit more about Luka.
Absolutely. I would talk all day about this guy if I could, but I'm not going to. Some of the key players they have on this team, some of the key players they've had for a while, but then there are some new faces that are starting to pop up. First, we have Luka Modric. He's the Madrid legend, the Spurs legend, central midfielder, and he's definitely in the twilight years of his career. And he's with Madrid. He's lifted every trophy at the club level that you possibly can, and to cap it off with an international trophy of this magnitude would really be the icing on the cake for this Croatian and all of Croatia, really. Another person to look out for on that pitch for Croatia is going to be Josko Gvardiol, 22-year-old linebacker. Look at me with my football. Left back and a defensive phenom for Pep's Man City. As a defender in the final 9 games, again, as a defender, In his final 9 games between the Premier League and the Champions League season, he scored 5 goals and chipped in with 2 assists. That's crazy. I'm not looking to say he's going to be moving up anytime soon, as in moving up the pitch. But if he can chip in with some contributions in this tournament, it just might be the difference. And we also have Mateo Kovacic, also for City. He's a central midfielder, has a ton of experience winning with City. Of course, they always win. And he's been playing alongside Modric in the international team for years now. So the fact that they'll be able to gel in that midfield could go a long way. Some of the youngins to watch out for, we have Martin Baturina. He's 21, attacking midfield for Dinamo Zagreb, and he has 6 goals and 9 assists across all competitions last season. He's been tearing it up in the Croatian league, but he really only has 2 caps for Croatia with a total of 10 minutes. So I'm excited to see if he gets a chance to shine here, because everything that I was reading about the kid is that the Croatians are very excited about this guy blowing up very soon, and this could be the tournament that it happens in. Where's the money coming in on, Vic? Tell us about those degenerates. Where are they betting at for Croatia?
Well, Croatia has a solid team, but unfortunately they're with Italy and Spain, so they're at a plus 450 to finish on top of their group. So that is best for third, but again, with Italy and Spain in that group, it's hard to get anywhere close to the top. Overall, they do have the 9th best odds, so that's telling you something just to win Euro 2024, and that's with the plus 4,000. So they share that mark with Denmark. That's pretty cool. And yeah, again, still really good odds. They got a solid team, but that's a group of death for a reason.
Yep, and word on the street for Croatia is that we all know they have a ton of experience in that defense in the midfield. And even though the squad is a bit older now, they have a lot of older players that are pretty much in the last few competitions of their careers. They've had success in recent major tournaments, and they've gotten out of the group stage in 2 consecutive Euros. So expectations seem to be that even in the group of death, that they'll be progressing, and really all about progressing past that. So everything that gets them into the next round will be heavily influenced by the matchup. And of course, but for them, it's they haven't really had a legit goal scoring threat since Mandzukic retired. And so it really is just dependent on how far they go, is dependent on who they get matched up with. If they have a club that's extremely well on the defensive side, they have a lot of people that can stop them, then they're not going to be able to score goals a lot. And that's kind of the word on the street, is that if they can't find someone to score the goals for them, that they're not going to be able to go far. But because they have that experience, they'll definitely be able to get past this group. And some reasons why I'll be watching, well, part of my family, my wife's family, is Croatian, and that 2018 World Cup run was magical. I can remember it like it was yesterday, and since then I've been a fan of Croatia. I'm a fan for life, and I want my Croatian people to be happy. I am part of them now. I loved my time there as well. So whenever I'm watching this team, I'm thinking back to that vacation, and can't wait to go back and be with my Croatian family. Another reason, Luka Modric, legend, love him. And I really can't say enough about him. Why y'all should be watching, though, is have you ever had cevapi? And I know the answer is probably no, maybe yes, I don't know. But it's essentially like a European hot dog, but healthier version. And I think most people that are, some haters out there, they're going to say that it's probably Bosnian or Serbian. But I had it walking around in the bay, like the Bay of Split. And if you're walking around that bay, eating cevapi, sipping on an ice cold Karlovačko, man, everybody needs to do it and enjoy that. Karlovačko is the beer. Daniel, you remember? Oh, they can't see you, so you can just cut that out.
I do.
Yeah, there you go. You can say it. Anyway, everyone needs to try it, and then you'll be knowing exactly why you should be rooting for Croatia. But also, like Kroos for Germany, this is probably Modric's last go at a major trophy. So we all want to say that we were there. We remember when he won the trophy, when they lifted up this summer. And then the final reason I'll give you is because this not so underdog of a country, they have a population of 3.8 million people. Now, to put that in perspective with the group that they're in, Spain is 47 million and Italy is 58 million. and they are neck and neck for talent with those teams, or at least have been in the past. So yes, they're the little engine that could, but to have that much talent coming out of, far, far less population is incredible. And that is just really cool to see. I'm excited to watch them in the Euro 2024. Vic, tell me why you're excited.
Well, Spain and Italy have way more people, but I guarantee you do not have as many truffles as Croatia. Now, like fine dining, Croatia is actually famous for truffles, and one of the biggest truffles ever found was 1.31 kilograms. Or, again, we're American. That's 2.8
An American,
pounds.
please. Yeah.
2.8 pounds.
Thank you.
World-breaking truffle. So, Italy, Spain, nowhere close to that. Not to mention, Game of Thrones was shot in Croatia. You're a Game of Thrones fan, you might want to see this beautiful country do well at a game, or the game of football. So, and also, lastly, and most importantly, your childhood would probably not be the same because Dalmatians originated from Croatia. And 101 Dalmatians would not have happened if there was no Croatia, in my mind anyway. So just for that, they have my undying support. That's what I think.
I never put 2 and 2 together, but like when you're there, it's the Dalmatian coast. And I never once thought dogs. I just was like, oh, that's some weird, European word, I guess. I don't know. That's hilarious. Well, we're going to keep this train rolling right on to Albania. They got into Euro 2024 and they topped their group that included the Czech Republic and Poland, 2 teams that are in this tournament with a record of 4 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws. The same record as Czech, but they won because they had a better goal differential. The last time they were in the Euros was in 2016, and they failed to get out of the group stage, but that group included Romania, Switzerland, and France, so kind of expected. Those are some good teams, and it really sucks that they got a group of death here again. So their best ever finish was just getting to the Euros. It was their first ever appearance last time, so this is only their second time. So they're hoping to make a statement in the Euros in this Euro 2024. And so with that said, Vic, tell us how they've been playing and their form in the past 8 to 10 matches.
Well, Albania actually spent 2023 qualifying for the 2024 Euros. They did pretty well, but started off on the wrong foot in March with a 1-0 loss against Poland. After that, they rattled off 2 quick wins against Moldova and the Faroe Islands and drew with the Czech Republic shortly after. Then they rattled off 3 other wins against Poland, Czech Republic, and Bulgaria, ending out the year with 2 draws against Moldova and the Faroe Islands. In 2024, it didn't start off too well in March. They actually had a 3-0 loss against Chile, and then they beat Sweden 1-0, but bounced back really well against Liechtenstein 3-0, and just yesterday beat Azerbaijan. I think that's it. Azerbaijan, yeah, 3-1, just beat them. So they are in a positive direction going into the Euros, and hopefully they can keep it up and fight as much as they can in this group going forward.
Just for the sake of clarity here, Victor did say that they beat Sweden. They lost to Sweden 1-0, but we all know what he meant. All right, going into some key players here. Some key players for this Albanian squad. We have El Said Husai, for the Lazio defender who can play on the left or right side. And he's one of the few Albanians that were in that 2016 Euro squad. So he's going to have that experience and try to help calm down that squad as they go into Euro 2024. We also have Armando Broja. He's a center forward for Chelsea, but he's loaned out to Fulham for the end of the season. And although he got limited minutes towards the end of last season, it was mostly due to injury. He'll be a key figure in that Albanian squad moving forward if he's healthy. And it's kind of a similar story with the next guy as well, Christian Aslani for Inter Milan. He's a defensive midfielder. He's shown a ton of quality, but like Broja, he's got limited minutes with Inter, which it's hard to get into that Inter squad how good they've been. But for both of those players, it really could be their time to shine. And both of them are 22, so those are also going to count as the young talents to watch out for. Really couldn't find anyone else on this team that's young and emerging. So sorry, it's a bit boring, but that's where we are with this Albanian squad. And I imagine they're not great, but Vic, tell us the odds.
Yeah, with that lack of young talent and also being in this group of death, they are obviously predicted to predicted to finish bottom of their group of death at a plus 2,500. And overall odds to win the Euro 2024 tied at the very last with a plus 50,000. So, pretty bad bet. I don't think I would bet that using your money, Adam. Sorry. So, any Albanians listening?
Put $2 on that and see where that gets you if they end up winning this thing. So, word on the street, although they tore through qualifying without any real issues and they topped a group with Poland and Czech, it's nothing to sneeze at, those teams. They're also in this competition. It's just unfortunate that they're drawn in this group. There's not a ton of optimism, as you could imagine. Maybe they can get a point, but there's not a ton of optimism. Why I'll be watching is exactly for that last point I just made. I'm tuning in because they are assumed that they're going to be last in this group, which, yeah, makes sense. But while everybody's thinking that same thing, maybe Spain, Italy, and Croatia are as well, and they'll be beating up on each other, but they might go into this Albania game and slack a little bit, and then they might be able to pull off an upset or at least get a point and get a draw out of it. And I'm going to be tuning in because if anybody slips up in this group of death to Albania, they might end up getting that third seed, and that could be the big difference in how this tournament goes forward. Some reasons why you should be watching. Look, I don't know what's in the water over there in Albania. I really don't, but go watch the highlights from their goals in qualifying. I mean, these guys, it might not be pretty the whole game, but I promise you that they're going to bang in a long-range missile from outside the box, and everybody's going to go crazy. It's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be everywhere. I'm telling you, go watch their highlights. This team loves to get some highlight goals, and not goals I'm talking about like ticky-tacky stuff. I'm talking about blasting it from downtown. It's going to be fun to watch. It'll make it all worth it. Even if they don't get any further than this group, it'll be fun to watch. So, Victor, tell us why you're watching this team.
Yeah, well, the reason I'll be watching it, they do have a couple of well-known celebrities from there. One of them is Nobel Peace Prize winning Mother Teresa. Mike guys know her. So I know she will be watching from...
She's not Italian?
No, not.
Okay.
Just with her. Or she's Albanian in heritage. But the more well-known one that you might know nowadays is Dua Lipa, Albanian. So there might be a chance where you and Dua Lipa are watching the exact same thing if you're watching these. Not only that, I like Halloween, and Albanians absolutely love pumpkins. They use them for decoration. They eat them. They do all kinds of stuff. You have to associate pumpkins with Halloween. So, I think that's cool. Also, there's not much about Albania that I can really look up. So, not only that, you gotta love an underdog story. This is the group of death: Italy, Spain, Croatia, and then little Albania. This is a country that has never even won an Olympic medal. So they got to win something. And when they do, they're going to go absolutely crazy. Everybody's going to go absolutely crazy if they can knock off one of these teams. So this is one of the best underdog stories you can ever think of. So that's why I'll be watching them and rooting for them. And I actually can't wait. I think it'll be pretty fun to see.
I think that they'll probably be waiting for a medal a little bit longer. I don't think they're getting anything here, but hey, a girl can dream, as they say, or boy, whatever. Well, that's it for the group wraparound. Let's go ahead and talk about our predictions for this. The way I have it is maybe a little controversial. I'm not sure, but I have Spain topping the group, which isn't controversial. I think they have enough quality to beat anybody on their day, and that team is just going to get better as the tournament progresses. So I have Spain 1. I have Croatia finishing in the second spot, and then I have Italy and Albania 4th. So Spain, Croatia, Italy, and then Albania. Victor, who do you have?
Well, I actually agree with you 100% on this one. I do have Spain winning, and then I do have Croatia getting second. It's hard to count out Luka anytime he's on the pitch. So we'll be rooting for him. And then I do have Italy third. I'm sorry, my Italian coworker. He will probably be really upset with me. But, I mean, they didn't even make the World Cup. What makes you think they're going to get second? And then, unfortunately, Albania last. But y'all guys will be in my heart.
Well, I'll say this, too. Because of the way that the tournament is laid out, the top 4 third place teams, that's hard to say, can qualify into the round of 16. So I fully expect that even if Italy are the third team, that they'll be qualifying for the round of 16 as one of the top teams that are third place. But it just changes the trajectory of the tournament, because whoever gets that third spot is playing a first seed. So, it gets a little bit harder, but if you're Italy, you've done it all before. You're not scared coming out of that third seed. Or Croatia. I'm not saying it's going to be that direction, but that's how we see it. So taking a look at some of the top matches we think are going to decide this group. Match day 1, we have Spain versus Croatia. And if we think that Croatia is going to end up getting past Italy in this group and finishing second, it's going to mean a lot if they can get at least a point from that game, because Spain, we're all assuming is going to get top spot. But if Croatia are looking to make some damage, they need to make a statement in this first match. The next match is going to be the main one we're talking about, with Croatia versus Italy in match day 3, June 24th. That one is going to really tell a lot about how this tournament progresses, because the second and the third seed coming out of the group of death, it really does mean a lot for not just them, but whoever they're going to be facing in the next round. So match day 3, June 24th, Croatia versus Italy. It's going to go, it's going to be very fun to watch, and I can't wait to watch it. Anything else that we need to discuss on this group?
I'm just excited to see it. I mean, group of death, there's not much better football you can think of whenever you're watching any games from a group of death. So it's going to be really interesting, and I'm actually excited to see Luka on the pitch again. So,
well, we are excited. You're excited. We hope all of you are as well. Thank you for tuning in to the No Business Soccer podcast. Vic, close us out.
We just want to remind you guys to go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit us up in the comments. Do you think we're off base? Do you think Albania has a better shot than we're giving them? Let us know what you think. We'd be happy to talk to you guys in the comments and go from there. So we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll talk to y'all later.
We out.